we're getting all the floods, all the fires, and all that crap out of the way before you come back.
I know that's been terrible. I've been hearing all about that.
It's just nuts.
You
The
guys
world's
been having
going
some floods.
crazy.
I remember last time we were there was a lot of fires going on.
That's right. Yeah, there was too.
Yeah, there was
Absolutely. Oh,
smoke in
good
the
memory,
air.
man. And of course, look, it's such a thrill to speak to you. Thank you very much for your
Oh
time.
my God, it's a thrill to speak to you. Thanks. Let me shut off my my wall AC so we don't have so much white noise in the background.
No worries.
Here, that's a little better. Oh, there we
Actually,
go.
while you're doing that, I've got to don the vest, mate. I don't know if that's a little bit familiar to you, but the leather
Yes.
vest.
Well done. Wow, a signed jacket. That's a really cool jacket too.
Look, I was going to put it on, but the fact is that was from the 2015 tour, and mate, it doesn't fit. Don't tell anyone. But
you know what? We're all trying to lose our quarantine 19. Don't worry.
Absolutely, indeed. Of course, that was from your
Slowly.
first visit here back in 2015. So it's something that had to at least make the scene. But mate, what do you remember of that first visit down under back then? Kind of a lot's happened since then.
Oh gosh, that was God, I know it feels like a lifetime ago, but I remember being really stoked to like play these tiny little little clubs again. You know, it was really fun. It took me back to the first years of touring. I was talking about this yesterday in some interviews I did about the first time we ever played a headline show outside of like the Pennsylvania area. Like it was on our first album cycle after doing several tours of being the house opening band for like everyone and their mother. And I think it was in Minnesota, and maybe not even 400 people showed up, but we were just like, yeah, we were so excited. So it kind of felt the same way. I remember like driving to the gig and hearing our first single for the first time. I got off playing on the radio, and we're just like, oh my gosh. And like, they were like, Hailstorm's playing at the Joe Schmo's fuckery club or whatever, you know, I don't know. Like Ray's Pizza Kitchen, you know, that's what it felt like anyway. There was like a pole.
That's wild.
There was a pole right in the middle of the stage. Like it was just like this little rinky dink bar. But I remember our first tour in Australia, just like playing all these tiny little down and dirty clubs, and it just. But here's the difference, though. In Australia, at least they were clean. You know, at least they didn't smell like rotting beer. I was coming down there expecting it to smell old stale Foster's, but that wasn't the case at all.
Oh, we couldn't do that to honour your first visit. Absolutely. I know Foster's. Yeah, that's an English
Foster's
beer
is
now.
piss beer. I know. The locals don't like Foster's. Foster's is like the Americanized Australia. It's all marketing. It's all bullshit, right?
Oh, absolutely. And look, while you're on that, I mean, this is a tour a little bit later on, but I'm going to share a photo behind me because I've got to put you on the spot.
Saw that.
And you and I have to fix something, my friend. So if I just change my background here for a sec, we got to do the old, you know, here's to us. Back on back in the old venue there, the Cherry Bar, which is of course all changed a little bit since then. But you weren't there. What the hell? We're going to change that this tour.
Oh yeah. Let's recreate that photo. But I want to be in it this time. I don't know where I was. I was not called in for that photo.
Look, there are a couple of theories there, but yeah, I'm not going to share what was apparently going on. None of my business. But of course, we saw you back in 2017, and that was for the Into the Wildlife tour. And what an album that was! It just kept on giving from start to finish. Did you find that Into the Wildlife at that time, around the sort of 2017 tour down here in Australia, did you find that album sort of launched you to a new level of popularity?
Oh my God. I honestly, I thought it was gonna, I mean, I'm so proud of that record, but I feel like it's become like a forgotten record that only like really hardcore Hailstorm fans know about. I feel like that's the record that, not a lot of people think about, but over the years, the songs from that record have been some of our best responses to play live. Songs like "I Am the Fire," songs like "Amen," and things like that. And that's one of my favorite Hailstorm records because it was just such an art project. It was the first record that we tried to make a continuous sequence where the songs run into each other. And the opening song on that record, "Scream," is I think one of the most underrated Hailstorm songs out there. I'm surprised it doesn't get more love because it's so different, so unique. But like, you know, people want to hear "Freak Like Me" and "Miss the Misery," and I get that. So I figured that "Strange Case" was the record that kind of put us on the map. It's the one that Love Bites won the Grammy for. So so yeah, it's cool to hear you say that because that is one of my favorite records, and I feel like that was the record where all of us kind of really became songwriters. It was one of the first records where we started doing more in-house writing with each other rather than outsourcing to co-writers and things like that. And it's been a continuous process from that point. But it's so funny. The mentality going into Vicious was, our first record with Nick Riskey-Lennox, and he was the one that was kind of like, we got to go back to old school Halestorm. So the Wildlife record was kind of an experiment, and at the time, like it didn't blow up as fast as Strange Case, so we thought that we were backpedaling. So we're like, oh shit, like, oh, I don't know what's going on there. But over the years, the songs from the record have kind of stood the test of time, which is great. I mean, that's really cool to see. It's weird how that happens sometimes.
It is too, absolutely. And while you're on that, I mean, you brought Nick Riskey-Lennox back from the dead, which is, I mean,
literally,
it's a serious album by comparison. I assert personally that this album is the purest and finest example of furiously honest rock in contemporary history. I mean, I believe, and unbelievably brilliant, and that's stacked up against one of the very best catalogs of a band ever throughout history.
Wow.
Do you feel like with this album you've reached an even higher level of professional approach?
Well, you're really doing a good job at making me feel good about myself. Thank you.
I'm glad, mate.
Oh, that means the world to hear that, because you don't really know what the feedback is when you're in it. It helps to like kind of get very honest feedback from outside sources. So I appreciate that as a true lover of heavier music. I'll tell you what well, obviously one of the main differences between this record making approach, as opposed to all the records we've done before, is that, we were getting back in the studio after a, year and a half lockdown. So it was, I always kind of say like there was kind of a positive and negative to the pandemic and all that, the negative being, of course, like our entire world was upheaved. And I feel honestly more for the fans that didn't get a chance to come out to shows, because we found out pretty soon how therapeutic live music really is for a lot of them. So that was who I felt the most for. And then the other ones I felt the most for were all the crew people that work behind the scenes that are solely dependent on live shows. Us band people, we're fine. Like we can do other things. And one of them is, well, the only thing that we could really do was write. So I felt like for myself during the pandemic, I really felt like I was becoming a stronger songwriter, because literally every day, that's all I did all day was just, I hit up everybody I know, every writer, every other artist, every producer, like, hey, you want to there's this new thing called Zoom. It's like FaceTime, but like, and now we're like, fuck, I wish we could go back to the days that we didn't know what Zoom was, but I'm grateful for it, because it enabled me to be more, just to solely focus on and undistracted, just every single day, focusing on being a better songwriter. So, not having to split my time between touring and all that. So, that was probably a factor that went into, us feeling more confident in the studio to just kind of go for it.
Absolutely. And look, while I think of it, my friend, it must have been so difficult without Josh and Joe there as well. And Lizzie, I would imagine, was a little bit distant for you in the songwriting process. And I mean no disrespect that they're not in the shot behind us, but let's face it, at the age of 10 and the age of 13, respectively, this is where it all started.
It's a wide stage, okay?
Exactly. But I mean, back in 2019, you came back for Download, and that was absolutely thrilling. And look, we had almost got you back touring every year. Almost. We nearly got there, and COVID fucked it all up. I mean, but the album Vicious, you've mentioned it, but let's look at it here for just a second. I mean, you left us with recordings of Black Vultures, and let's face it, first lockdown, you can imagine Black Vultures, but Skulls, Uncomfortable, Do Not Disturb, Conflicted, Killing Ourselves to Live, Painkiller, The Silence. Did you know COVID was coming?
did we pull a Simpsons and make a prediction? I don't know. I hope not.
It sort of felt that way as we're spinning Vicious throughout the whole thing.
Oh, it's so crazy, man. It's weird.
Indeed. But look, thank you very much.
But I do feel optimistic that things are getting better.
Absolutely. Yep, with you 100%. And of course, while I'm on the thank yous, we're absolutely thrilled that you'll be returning back to Australia and, of course, across the ditch there in New Zealand. And you'll be returning to see us thanks to Live Nation. Honestly, thank you very much indeed. Are you feeling the love on socials for your comeback?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, I'll be honest. When you're off the radar for a year and a half, there is the worry that everyone's going to forget about you. And enough people in Australia. Luckily, we were able to get there right before the lockdown happened in 2019. I'm very grateful for that. But I'm also grateful that enough people remembered us and enabled us to come back, because Australia is one of my favorite places to go. And I'm also excited to get there in February, because I'll be leaving winter and going into summer.
Exactly. Yeah. And look, while we're
It'll be
there, I mean, are
beautiful.
you bringing Detroit with us this time? Is you coming along as
Oh
well?
no, Detroit's not with us anymore. She
Oh,
has
sorry
moved
to hear
on to
that.
bigger and better thing. No, honestly, we're really happy for her. She has landed a massive gig, and she is so good at her job that she deserves every ounce of it. And I will always love her like a sister, you know?
But I love your thoughts and certainly the emotion that comes to the fore there, RJ. But we were going so well, and now you're saying there's something bigger and better than Hailstorm. I refuse to believe it.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I'm allowed to reveal it or say publicly who she's. I'll have to check with her first, but
You
I'll
got
let you
it.
know in Australia if she's okay with it. But it is a big gig, and a band that I've been a fan of for like forever. So I'm really happy for her.
Oh, absolutely. Very best of luck to her. Pass on our thoughts to her if you do see her. But the thought of you, Lizzie, Joe, and Josh coming back again is the best news ever. Do you remember stuff?
Me
Because it's
too.
kind of a long time, and with getting back into the touring schedule, do you remember anything from Australia and New Zealand that you enjoyed doing or seeing or eating that you're sort of looking forward to?
Everything, like Australia is like the one place in the world, maybe besides Japan, where I'm like, okay, if it doesn't work out with America, I could live here. This would be fine, you know. I feel like I lived in California for 7 years, and I loved the fact that like you could go anywhere and like eat really healthy and find like delicious food for like really healthy, and I experienced that in Australia, and I got so spoiled by eating the food down there. It's so, like the way it's processed is much more pure and much less processed than it is out here. So I remember like having leaving Australia, having a layover at the airport in New York, and then getting a sandwich there, and just immediately just feeling like shit,
Oh
because
no.
I was just like I really miss the food down there. But of course, I also love that even in the wintertime, it's gorgeous down there. But I'm really excited to get down there in the summertime, because you know, I'm hoping to go to the beach, and I'm hoping to like get outside and go for runs and find a gym and, you know, eat really good local food. And, you know, I'm just looking forward to, and of course the culture, the people are, I think y'all and Canadians have a lot in common. You're just all really nice and really friendly. And these American a-holes are going to come over there, and y'all are going to be so incredibly nice to us. We're going to be like, okay, what's the deal? You know? So
Oh, look, who could be
it's
nicer
just
than
a
those people
wonderful
with you there?
experience. Oh, there we go.
Who could be nicer than those folks? I mean, really?
Oh my God, with the
But
fedora, oh, that'll never happen again.
yeah,
Oh,
that's
what was I
got. I
thinking?
prefer the hair now, my friend. That's much better
Thanks.
indeed. But of course, you're
No,
touring
it's
with
fine.
Theory or Toad or Theory of a Dead Man. They don't mind what's in a name. But these guys are Canadian rock legends as well. How did they end up tour buddies?
I know, ironically, right? Well, they were a band nice enough to take us on tour, let us open for them when we were starting out. So we're just happy that we can return the favor and help them build a following in Australia, so they can keep coming back over and over. Because that's how you do it. You got to keep coming back and building your audience so you can get to go back, you know, because any opportunity I get to go to Australia, I'll take it, you know.
Oh.
So I want to do the same for them. Hopefully we will, you know.
Absolutely. And look, we're
We're like
hoping that there'll
family.
be some hijinks on stage with Tyler and the boys. I mean, I piss myself every time I see Chris, John, Fred, Ben, and John setting up the Blackstone Cherry meet and greet on stage with you in Manchester at the
That was
Carnival
so
of
funny.
Madness
I
tour.
know,
That
and
was a beauty.
the Theory guys, for as friendly and sweet and laid back as they are, like they are they Tyler just has and they all those guys are just funny dudes. They're just really funny, and they make me laugh. And I'm really excited to turn on them to some fragrances. I'm gonna bring my summer scents with me. I've got a couple right here. I'm gonna take with me. But it's gonna be summertime, so I gotta take. I think my top three summer scents that I'm gonna bring with me are gonna be these three right here. It's gotta be Sorry, I'm not used to like, having the bottom half of me showing on camera, so I didn't really bother with putting
I'm
pants
not
on.
going to stand up so you can see my boxer shorts.
But Tom Ford Costa Azora is going to be a one that I'm definitely going to bring. Tonga 25 by Layla Bow is nice and refreshing. That's going to come with me. And then I'm going to bring Imperator by Royal Crown, which is like a fresh spicy. And I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to bring fragrance up. It's something that I do. I have a passion for it. I have a YouTube channel called Dr. Magnificent on YouTube if you want entertaining content about fragrance, but that's like my other passion. So what I did was I went online and I got a bunch of little travel decants. So I'm going to be taking these and putting them in little vials with me so I can smell good when I'm in Australia, because I don't want to come to Australia and stink up the place.
Oh, look, I'm with you. I'm going to bring to you at the Melbourne show, I'm going to bring a nice little bottle of Spice Bomb for you so you can have the grenade ready to roll.
I have it right here. Don't worry. I have Spice Bomb Extreme.
Oh, but do you have night vision?
No, I don't have night vision. I only have Spice Bomb
night vision.
I have a decant of night vision, and I do have a decant of night vision infrared, which is like more of a red spicy, but that one I'm not too keen on. I honestly feel like the best option for that is just to go with number one by House of Sillage. It's basically like a red cinnamon stick. So don't get Night Bomb Infrared. Get this one instead for only a few bucks more. But Spice Bomb Extreme is like my go-to Christmas time scent. So I'm going to be wearing this in the wintertime out here, but I'm not going to bring it with me to Australia because it's going to be summertime.
I can see it now. You and I will be wandering through a store called Myers in the fragrance department, squirting everybody passing, and ourselves will be rock and roll all over.
If anyone is out and about and they're wondering where I am, I'll probably be at like the fragrance section of some local department store or something.
Are you going to leave, drumsticks around the place like Lizzie Hale picks in stores?
If drumsticks were as cheap as guitar picks, then yeah, I'd do that.
Absolutely.
Like we pay like $4.50 a pair for drumsticks. A pick is like a couple of pennies. It's like a dime for a pick.
That must hurt when you throw them out to the crowd.
And it's a little bit more dangerous throwing those out. They're a little bit more, yeah.
AJ, love your work. We can't wait to see you and all of Halestorm back again, and with Theory of a Deadman. It's brilliant to catch up. Thank you so much for your time today.
Well, thank you so much. I can't wait to get down to Australia and turn all the Australians on to my top summer picks for my top summer scents down there. And while you're at it, if you don't mind my plugging my YouTube channel, it's called Dr. Magnificent, SCENT. Go subscribe on there if you want to see more of my insane real life.
Everybody get on it. Magnificent stuff.
Get over there. Thanks. Shameless self-promotion. I got to plug it. Sorry.
No, you plug away, my friend. We'll be subscribing and watching all day.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Rock and roll. Thanks very much, RJ.
Thank you so much for taking the time. I'll see you in a month and a half.
Absolutely. Not long.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know time.
I better fragrance up.
Yes, let's smell great.
Thank you, RJ. Take care, my friend. Travel safe.
I'll see you in a few months, man. Take care.
See you soon.